Welcome back to the Loss Prevention News Network. I'm Amber Bradley with my co-MC, Joe LaRocca, who's going to introduce our special guest. Not that he needs really any introduction.
We have the famous Mike Lamb, who's the...
We're going to set you up big here, coming in hot.
Set you up big. Who's the Vice President of Asset Protection and Safety with Kroger, and a repeat guest here on the LPNN with one of the highest rated segments that we've ever done. So, Mike, thank you for coming back.
It's my pleasure.
I know, I'm trying to get my viewership up, so we drug you in.
Then we bring Mike in.
A few more followers.
Watch this, we have more followers on Twitter and LinkedIn.
It's nice to be seen with both of you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Joe, okay, fine. Okay. You take it.
So on that note, I'm going to take the first question. You know, Mike, we were talking a little bit before we went on air about leading big organizations, and you're doing a session later with Gus called Turning the Battleship Around. Share a little bit about a preview of that session, if you will. You move into a big organization. What are some of the first things you're focused on and your leadership when you join the company?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Joe. I would say one of the first things, at least in terms of what I did, was sort of a SWOT analysis. You know, understand the strengths, the opportunities, the weaknesses, and the threats of your organization. I think ahead of that, understand the organizational culture. I came in at a time where Kroger was looking for maybe a different direction. There were some opportunities with shrink. So one of the first things I did was sit down and understand what I thought we were doing well, what were some of the stronger levers that we could continue to leverage, and then where were some of the opportunities across the business where we needed to move quickly to make some change, to organize our work. And then I think one of the qualities of developing a plan is sticking with it. You know, you have to have a degree of patience when you manage shrink. The forensics of grocery and with perishables make it even more complex. So once you develop that plan, one, it should be thoughtful. You should have the confidence in it. And I think you have to be unwavering. I think you have to stick with it. Now, don't stick with it to a fault, but stick with it. And we've been able to do some of those things at Kroger, and I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud of the organization for the support they've provided me. And just as importantly, I'm proud of our results.
It's fantastic. And it sounds like as you look at the plan, you strengths and weaknesses, you come in with a lot of support from the organization. You rally a pretty big team around the country, and not just within the AP safety world, but with a union environment, a store environment, a national footprint. How do you success in communicating to that broad, very diverse group of people? What are some of the things you start with?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think any organization who successfully manages shrink is one where you have a multitude of players. You know, it's not just the AP team, it's the operations team, it's the field team, it's our merchants, it's our IT team, it's our finance team, it's allocating capital, making the right investments into the business. And you're right, Kroger is a very complex organization, a wonderful organization, and one that I'm very proud to be a part of. But there's the union environment. There are 20 plus separate banners or separate divisions, 12 or more banners across Kroger. So communication is kind of the lifeblood, and we've really focused on that. You know, we focused on the importance of not over inundating the field, or anyone for that matter, with the messaging on shrink, but when it's important and when it's critical, get your message out there. So, your question about communications, I think that's the lifeblood of any successful strategy. You know, there was some guy that authored a book, it might have been the book Nuts, where he said if you've talked about something 42 times, you're just getting started.
Just getting started, right.
So, I think redundancy, too, of communication is important. So we've tried to focus on that.
Nice.
So I think everyone in the industry really respects you and your career, and knowing you've been in multiple different formats, multiple different environments. One of the things that, as Calibration, we work with a lot of grocers, and I'm always fascinated at the complexity of the grocery environment. So from your retail background, and you've also, been with Walmart that does have grocery offerings as well, but curious what moving to grocery has been the most surprising for you in your past experience to say, wow, okay, didn't see that one coming?
Yeah, it's, in my experience in my former company, Walmart, we had a separate pyramid that managed the perishables, the produce, the fresh side of the house. And I was more sort of the mass merchandising shrink guy. We were first cousins, but I had a peer that really oversaw a lot of the produce and managing those efforts to be in stock, to drive sales, to manage shrink. At Kroger, coming into that organization, grocery and fresh are all a part of our shrink number. We talk a lot about total loss in our industry. There is no markdown line at Kroger. If you have a short-dated product, you don't sell through it, you scan it out as a loss, it goes straight to our shrink line. So the importance of, the right amount of inventory at the right time to be right for the customer, but to also be right for shrink and waste is so critically important. And I guess perhaps more than anything, it's probably been one of my larger adjustments to understand the speed with which you have to operate there. And it underscores the relationships we have with our merchants. Because our merchants buy to sell, right? And sometimes with a merchant philosophy, it's, if I'm not selling a lot, I'll buy more. There's a sweet spot there and there's a balance. So we have a wonderful merchant team at Kroger. We have a great partnership with them, and we keep that connection alive and well.
Nice.
Yeah, super important, I think, because we were talking about off camera how in grocery it's like shrink on speed, right? It's just massively quick.
Yep.
Because everything is aging
Right.
immediately.
Right.
So,
well, the other thing I'll tell you, and this is a piece I think I'm doing with Dan Faculty with Gus, is on how retail's changing so rapidly. I mean, we're here in New York at the NRF, of course, and you walk into that exhibit hall, it's all about how to digitize, how to leverage technology, anything, anywhere, anytime for the consumer. And, that's going to be a future opportunity if you're in the business of managing shrink. We rely heavily on self-checkout. Our customer opts for self-checkout. We're moving more in that direction. So we have to go alongside that with respect to what we do to mitigate shrink. So it's a fascinating time to be in retail because it's really on warp speed, isn't it, with respect to change?
yeah, for sure. It has to be. And what's interesting, too, is you think about grocers, and I was saying what a huge fan I am of your click list where you're just driving up and everyone puts, I haven't been in a grocery store in months and I love you for that. But one of the things that you think about.
Thank Kroger for that.
That's
true.
ground truth coming in from the consumer.
Ground truth right there,
Love
man.
that.
That thing is the best thing ever made. But you think about innovation, and I'm on your app, every night filling up my cart for things that I'm going to forget. And it seems like Kroger's one that's just right on the cutting edge. And so you think about, does that present internal challenges for you to catch up with the innovation team? I mean, because it seems to an outsider that Kroger must have a whole massive group that's doing all of these innovations because it's so timely. So
Right.
from an LP perspective, how do you make sure that you're not running to catch that loss that maybe
Right.
the IT folks didn't think about?
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, it's all about partnerships, and it's about inserting yourself and having a seat at the table. And as the organization looks at its forward strategy, what they plan to do as they digitize the business, we have to be right alongside them with respect to any risk that it might present to our profit. So I think the key there is just stay connected. And the key also, Amber, is don't catch up, stay up and be alongside them every step of the way. And we've tried to do that. And we have a great relationship with our Kroger tech partners that are responsible for a lot of the changes in the business. And I think those critical relationships and keeping them alive and well are the key to success if you're going to manage shrink effectively.
Amber's really big on relationships and relationship management. And all day, you're the first guest, I think, that she hasn't whipped out the hot seat question.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes. So we have to do that.
She wants to.
I fear
Yes.
it's coming.
It's coming.
I fear it's
comes.
coming.
And I think they changed out, if you don't make it within the right amount of time,
Yeah.
there's a big bucket of slime.
Oh, no.
It's
over
just
us.
right above us. You can't
Yeah.
see it from the camera's
Right.
perspective.
So make sure that
No pressure, Joe, right?
No,
pressure.
it's no pressure.
We have a
Mike. Come on.
countdown clock right there. So all you have to do is just watch that clock. And when it buzzes down to 0,
I'll keep an
we
eye
go,
on it.
Yeah, so you have to go quick. Okay,
Yep.
well, this is the lightning round.
Got
We got
it.
through it with the other guys where I was running out.
Let's
okay.
do it.
Are
Let's
you
do it.
ready?
No, let's
Okay, we're going to
fire
wait
away.
for the clock. And now, football or baseball?
Football.
Ellen or Oprah?
Ellen.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird for sure.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
Snapchat or Instagram?
Snapchat.
Typewriter or computer?
Computer.
NYC or LA?
LA.
Oh, that's surprising.
you.
I mean, no disrespect to New York.
Yeah.
Love the city.
FBI or CIA?
CIA.
Jason Bourne or 007?
007.
Sherlock or Watson?
Oh, Sherlock.
Oh, by far. And he's made it, everybody.
Good job.
Unbelievable.
round.
Stop the slime
Stop the
bucket from
slime
falling.
bucket from
He's
falling.
made it, everyone.
No stuttering, no stammering, except on the LA NYC question.
Yes, well, that's a tough
there a
one.
bit.
I mean, because you've got me, NYC's my fave. You've got the
You're
California
welcome to
boy
California
on the
They're
anytime.
side.
wonderful cities.
Anytime.
Yes,
Both.
we love them both. All because we don't want to get anybody hashtagging us with the
That's right.
mean stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
I know.
So, Mike, you in this new job, you moved, yes?
I did.
And you're in Cincinnati? Is
I
that
am.
right? Big transition for the family. How do you've done a couple of moves for these big companies. How does the family adjust? How do you sort of prep them in advance?
I have a wonderful wife that's always followed me, supported me in whatever way possible. This actually moved me closer to home and family. Cincinnati's a wonderful city. It's been a great transition.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Nice.
Yes.
You know, we're going to need to leave the conversation right there. Mike, thank you so much for coming
pleasure.
back. Amber.
And for amping up our
And
views
amping
and our
up our
viewership
views, yeah, so-
and my followers.
We'll see about that.
So you can follow Amber at My Calibration. You can follow me on Twitter at LaRocca J and your Twitter handle.
I don't have
Snapchat
Good
handle.
For him.
No,
Good
we'll
for
just-
you.
No, he's not.
We're typewriter folks. No, you
We're-
said computer.
No, he's a computer guy.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I
Thank you
tried.
for being here.
My pleasure.
And we are going to turn it back over to Gus Downing right now.